And the University Teachers Association of Ghana branch at the University for Development Studies wants the Ghana Tertiary Education Council to immediately stop the implementation process of office holding positions in public universities and the cancellation of some offices or positions. According to the union, GTEC is subtly implementing the Public Universities Bill that key stakeholders of higher education in Ghana rejected. It is therefore warning that GTEC's actions are increasingly threatening the autonomy of public universities as it undermines the various university councils, making them redundant and powerless. UTAG UDS is threatening a strike if these demands are not met. Let's get the details now from a statement released by the UTAG UDS, and there it is. It is titled Re-termination of the Implementation of Office Holding Positions in Public Universities and Notice of Industrial Action. And the Director General, Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, that's how it's addressed, and it's dated the 11th of July 2023. It reads, on the 16th of June 2023, the University for Development Studies wrote a letter to all deans and directors to effect the implementation of office holding positions in public universities and the cancellation of some offices or positions. This directive was in response to implementing the May 22nd, 2023 letter by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission on this subject. Members of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UDS, that is UTAG UDS, and the Ghana Association of University Administrators, that is GAWA of UDS, have observed the following. And there's quite a list of issues. The first, this exercise of cancellation of positions was reached without recourse and consultations with the members of public university unions across the country who are critically affected by these unilateral decisions. Again, they note, we also observed with disturbance that some of the positions offered for cancellation were negotiated for as part of the payroll allowances. We observed the controlling, micromanaging behaviors and headmaster acts of the GTEC regarding the public university's day-to-day administration and academic autonomy system, which members will resist. We observed the worrying attempts by GTEC to subtly implement the Public Universities Bill that key stakeholders of higher education in Ghana rejected. Indeed, GTEC's actions are increasingly threatening the autonomy of public universities as it undermines the various university councils, making them redundant and powerless. This is an unhealthy development. And maybe the final one before we cross over. We know that parts of the rejected PUB, that is the Public Universities Bill, are being implemented through the back door using the GTEC law. This is a threat to the autonomy of public universities and an attack on academic freedom. Well, let's now cross over, have an interaction. We've been joined via Zoom by Secretary of UTAG branch of the UDS, Dr. Ilyasu Mumuni, and Deputy Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Council, Dr. Ahmed Jinapo. So I'll start by posing this question, Doc. You are threatening to go on strike from the 28th of this month. Can you explain to us what the issues are and what has triggered this industrial action?
Very much, Ivan, for this opportunity.
The name is Benjamin.
Benjamin, sorry for that. And thank you to all your viewers and listeners. As you've clearly read out, we are threatening to go on strike on the 28th of this month if the litany of the points you've read out are clearly not attended to by our regulator, GTEC. And we came to this particular conclusion because we thought that issues related to position holdings of various UTAG and GAWA members needed to have had broader, consultation or engagement with us,
right,
which actually never happened. What we knew happened was an engagement with various university management. And, as you may know, the functioning process of various union systems and the functioning process of university management are quite similar but very different. And we thought, as members of that broader fraternity, we should have been in the process to help make inputs and shape how and which ones we think were appropriate. We understand the basket case of the general economy and the very motive GTEC is attempting to achieve. But these things cannot just be done in that unilateral form without us sitting on the table with them. And so we think that the time is now, and for a start, we want GTEC to stay put with this particular directive so that broader stakeholders' engagement can be done before anything like a modification or whatever can come.
Let me find out from you, though, is it then the case that your union had not been consulted before the implementation of this decision, as we know it, to terminate office-holding positions at your university? Is it to say you were not in the know?
Absolutely. And I speak on behalf of University for Development Studies and also as a member of the National Executive Committee of UTAG National, that as a broader 15-member university setup, we were not consulted, we were not part of the process. What we heard from the grapevine was basically about GTEC meeting one-on-one with individual universities. In the first instance, we had problems with that because that is the existence of Vice Chancellor's Ghana, BCG. And so oftentimes, decisions like this needed to have been, tabled at that level. But we knew that GTEC really wanted to do this divide and rule tactics or approach to deal with individual universities or institutions using the model of uniqueness of each institution and certain positions that may not be part of a very broad national organogram. And as such, they want to really engage them on that square. However, we know somehow the main motive was to actually deal with them individually so that as a regulator, they can actually have their way through. And that is exactly what they have done by meeting them individually to take them through these things and then subsequently direct them to, cancel these positions. And we know that each and every public university have had their fair share of this cancellation.
Right. And just on that note, you made mention of the fact that each and every institution has had its fair share. So just to confirm with you, is this situation peculiar to the UDS or does it cut across? And again, since you brought this to the fore, if your concerns are not addressed, what will be the next move?
Yes, so it's not only unique to University for Development Studies, but the request or directive for cancellation differ from university to university depending on the structure. And so, for instance, if you recall, the University for Development Studies it started as a multi-campus. And that is where we had WA, UBIT, and then Navrongo, CKT, becoming autonomous out of it. And we still have Nyankala campus and the Dungu Tamale campus. So based on this multi-campus system, the structuring is completely different from, say, University of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and Cape Coast, and others. And we also have Winneba almost using the same model. And so based on this uniqueness, certain offices that have been asked to be cancelled uniquely may not be same as compared to, for instance, University of Ghana or, for instance, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. In that regard, the unique differences, come on board. However, we understand that these things they are national exercises that, GTEC is going through. But as far as we are concerned, at the local level, our members really are not actually taking it kindly. And once these exercises are not stopped or these directives are not put on hold, members are threatening that by 28th, we members of University for Development Studies, as in the GAWA and the university teachers, will not be able to teach and carry out any other community service that reflects the functions of a university.
Dr. Mumini, we're grateful for your time. Let me now bring in Dr. Ahmed Jinapo of the GTEC. Doc, first off, what is your response to these concerns? Dr. Mumini has been listing a number of concerns that they have. What is your response to them? Hello, Dr. Jinapo.
Ivan. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, so the name is Professor Jinapo.
Professor Jinapo, my apologies, sir.
Deputy Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, not Council.
Right.
Commission. Okay.
Thank you for the correction.
So, as I said, let me greet my brother, Dr. Mumuni, and pick it up from where he ended. A couple of issues. The first thing is that for us as a commission, we are very committed to ensuring that tertiary education delivery is enhanced. And I can assure him and the general public of UDS that there's not going to be a strike. I've had conversation with him beyond they writing this petition and threatening to go on strike. I'm supposed to be at UDS on Thursday, which is 20th of July, to meet both GAWA and UTAG. And let me just put this in the right perspective, Ivan. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah, the simple thing is this. Two things that have been raised by UTAG. One of them has to do with the unilateral cancellation of office holding when it comes to university staff. There's nothing like that. Dr. Mumuni was appointed as a lecturer of that university, just like me. Once you are appointed as a lecturer, you are assigned to a department. You grow within the department. Then when you are lucky and you work hard, you become a head of department just as he is. He's the head of department of ICT. He occupies that office for a short period, maximum 2 years if you're a senior lecturer. If you are an associate professor, you occupy it for 3 years. Once you are done, you exit. What we've realized, my brother, what we've realized is that there are so many offices that have been created without recourse to even fees. When you go to the University Architecture, we have an office called the Vice Chancellor, the Pro Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the Dean, the Head of Department. These are offices within the University Architecture. But if you go and create offices, even like Head of Special Animals Project, Head of Small Animals Project, Head of Photocopier Office, Head of Cold Room. In fact, we have Head of Distance Education. I can speak to UDS. They have an office known as Head of Distance Education at Bupe, my hometown. And do you know where the program is being run? At a secondary school. So what we did was that we sat down with each individual head or management of an institution. That is why he said we are being selected. We sat down with each of them. We said, look at what offices you have on your payroll. If you are telling me that you want to pay a lecturer like Dr. Mumun, who has been appointed as a lecturer, as a consultant, you are paying him consultant fee every month. You have a secretary to a vice chancellor who is paid as a dean. Ivan, hello?
I'm here.
Yes, you are paid the secretary to the vice chancellor as a dean, a position held by a professor. Then where are we going to? And beyond that, he says we haven't consulted them. The process hasn't ended. We haven't even started implementing it. In fact, as of last week, we met UPSC. We've met University of Ghana 4 times. We are arranging to meet KNUST. I arranged to meet UDS Vice Chancellor. UDS Vice Chancellor, they haven't finished. So when you tell me that GTEC unilaterally is cancelling offices, it's not the case.
So you say you did not unilaterally do it, but every step of the way? Did you engage the institutions concerned? Obviously, the UDS has concerns. So let me know.
We did.
The public universities, did you engage them? You are interacting with Benjamin, by the way. Did you engage them every step of the way?
Every step we engage the vice chancellor. We are talking of office holding, Ivan. We are not talking of your job. You are a journalist. That's your job. You are a journalist. Tomorrow, if you are general manager of Joy FM is a position that you are holding. Tomorrow you leave, but you are still a journalist. That is your job. So you are appointed as an assistant lecturer into a university community. You are appointed as a junior assistant registrar. But when you are appointed, and by virtue of your appointment, you are created, an office is created, that you are head of cold room. You are head of small animals project. You are head of large animals project. You are head of all kinds of things.
So tell me, you feel this is unnecessary duplication of roles, right? Or replication of roles?
Not necessarily unnecessary duplication of roles. But what we are saying is that at the university, there are prescribed offices that have been agreed upon by the university community, informed by VCG. You cannot tell me that there shouldn't be a vice chancellor or a chief executive officer of a university. There should be a vice chancellor. Anybody who occupies that office as a vice chancellor is a professor by rank. He enters that office. He leaves when he's done. But UDS have an office for director for certification. There's certification. There's it. And when we talk of a directorate, we know what goes into a directorate, even. When we talk of a directorate, there's a difference between a directorate, a head of department, and a section. So I must say, UDS, we are going to work with them. We have spoken to Dr. Mumuni. We will be meeting convocation, that is GAWA and UTAG. There's not going to be any strike. Once we have that conversation, they will understand and appreciate where we are coming from. At the end of the day, all what we are looking for is that there needs to be sanity in the system. There needs to be sanity. So there's no need for drumming of war drums or whatever it is. There's going to be sanity. We had already arranged to meet even the unions, post our agreement with the management. And even as I told you, these are office holding. Nobody's condition of service is going to be varied. Nobody.
All right.
Nobody's condition of service.
Just clarify for me, Prof. By the way, you are interacting with Benjamin Akapo. You've kept referring to me as Evans. I've not changed my name yet.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Now, one of the claims that you are subtly implementing the Public Universities Bill, and we know what the content of that was. Just let me land. Let me land, yes. Because this is what Dr. Mumuni made mention of. And again, it's your word against his, because you say there was consultation every step of the way. He says they were left in the dark. So I'd like to find out from you, are you picking and choosing from the Public Universities Bill, and moving forward, apart from interacting with these entities, what is going to be the modus operandi of GTEC?
The modus operandi is very simple. You cannot create offices that are not recognized by the universities themselves. You cannot pay a lecturer who is employed as a lecturer as a consultant. Evans, you are working with Joy FM or Joy News. That's your job. You cannot be paid as a consultant. We are saying that you cannot establish a distance education program where you take full fee paying and you pay an officer head of evening classes. You cannot pay an officer who has been fully employed and tell him that you are paying him for what? Weekend classes. That is the point that we are making. But at the end of the day, in terms of consultation, these are office holding. Office holding are creation of management. Creation of management. I can tell you on authority. Last 2-3 weeks, I was at SV Dombo. I met both UTAG and GAWA. I met them. I was there. I met them. And we've even arranged to meet NEC. But as I told you, this whole process is evolving. We haven't even finished. Nothing has been implemented. We haven't implemented anything. And as I did indicate, I'm supposed to be at UDS, where we are speaking to today, on the 21st of this month. I'm meeting them. And from there, I will go to Narango. I am UTAG, so to speak. I was secretary for UTAG at UEW. I was a member of the National Executive Committee. There's no way, and I'm not speaking as me as a person, I'm speaking as a commission. There's no way that anybody is going to be shot in. But the right thing needs to be done, my brother. The right thing needs to be done.
Prof, we're grateful for your time interacting with us. Of course, Prof of the GTEC answering some of those concerns raised by the UTAG UDS, that is the UTAG branch of UDS. We were interacting earlier with Dr. Mumuni, and we just had an interaction with Professor Janapo of the GTEC. We're taking